I was emailed this really great article from a viewer of the show, and I want to share a little bit of it because I think many of us who are torn between the both sides, I would definitely not call myself a centrist. I am very much an independent at this point. I think those of us who are independent, those of us who might be undecided voters, there's plenty of undecided voters still out there who don't know if they're going to vote for Biden or Trump or somebody or write in or go third party. I think many people are in that vote, that boat, and feel oftentimes very much alone and isolated. And I think this article really kind of showcases those feelings. And really, I think what we need to remember is that there's more of us than there are of them. The world seems really polarized right now, but I think it's important to remember there's actually more of us than there are of them. So I want to read a couple of excerpts of this article to you, and I'm going to put the link down below. She did mention me, by the way, in this article, which is kind of fun. And so I'm kind of returning the favor, but this is an article written by Sienna May Heath. It's titled Biden or Trump, Why Being Undecided in 2020 Might Not Be Such a Bad Thing. So I want to read for you a couple of the excerpts. I'm not going to read you the entire article, not by even a little, but this section right here, I think really shows that this is what America is about. Being an undecided voter is really how you should be as an American, right? I mean, you shouldn't have your mind made up just by virtue of, it's team red or team blue. You should be thinking about your choices. You should be thinking about the candidates. You should be listening to them, hearing both sides, and then making a decision based on what they have to say. If you just follow one party blindly without ever questioning them, you're going to end up in a spot you don't like, ultimately in the end, because the parties change all the time, and they often don't change for the better. So one excerpt I want to read from her article is when she went to a Black Lives Matter protest and how, and really, I think this showcases what America is about. She says, in June, I attended a Black Lives Matter protest in my little hometown of Penn Argyl. I think I'm saying that right. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. Which is notoriously known as racist in Pennsylvania, a swing state. As my mom and I ran with our signs to catch up with the BLM crowd, a man with the counter-protest holding his All Lives Matter sign sacrificially cheered, "God bless America." My instinct was to send it back to him. I smiled and said, "God bless America." My mom was confused. I was a little confused too. So we moved on to join what may be written as the right side of history. Suddenly, the pastel flags, block print of the contrasting signs, the sideline chants in favor of the police, and the gratitude we had for the police who were keeping the peace that fateful day, they all blurred for me. I had arrived anxious and angry, and as we chanted, "This is what America looks like," I grinned. Yes, this is what America looks like. And sorry, I tear up every single time I read this section from this article. It says, and if I can feel the peace here, so can many, so can the collective. That is what America looks like. The fact that you can have two protests going at the same time peacefully with people chanting whatever it is they want to chant at those protests, that is what America looks like. And this idea that there shouldn't be this other side, that they shouldn't exist, that they shouldn't be here, or that they should be silenced is not America at all. This is what America looks like. She goes on to say here, there is swinging between the poles. I am loving all of you more than you know, and I am aware that so many see our state of affairs as right and wrong, good and evil, left and right. The truth is made of all of us. It's complicated. I fell asleep in 2019 as a pessimistic liberal, and am rising in 2020 as an optimistic independent. And I wish I shared her optimism. I'm not quite there, I'm not quite at that optimistic independent place yet. I'm still quite pessimistic, I think. I'm hoping, and maybe I do have some optimism, I don't know, but I am hoping that more of us can become independent, that more of us can open our eyes to the corruption and the sham that is being made in Washington by both sides, that there is no good side or bad side, that they're both bad, that they're on the take. Government is on the take. Democrats and Republicans are on the take, and the people need to take it back. And the only way we can do that is by rejecting both sides and by creating that strong third party. I really believe that we've tried hijacking the Democratic side at this point, and that's not worked. They've buried any sort of attempts at reform over and over and over again. I think it's time to open your eyes and learn your lesson. You're not going to get them elected and suddenly get them to turn to and push them to the left. That's a strategy that isn't going to work. They have pushed back. The minute they started to seem to go left with Bernie Sanders a bit, after 2016, it looked like maybe it was going in that direction. They went hard in the other direction with Joe Biden. They went hard in the other direction. And so I guess there's still this hope, I think, with some that they're thinking maybe the Republican Party can be reformed. And I think a lot of people are kind of seeing that. Maybe, there seems to be this populism rise going on in Republicans, and maybe the Republican side could be reformed. Probably fat chance, guys. I mean, probably fat chance. Because at the end of the day, money talks. And money is, and the elites and the powers that be, the corporatists, are controlling everything in Washington. So even when we think we might be making some inroads on that Republican side, at the end of the day, it gets buried once again by the powerful establishment. And I think that, so my pessimism is, I worry that we're just on the track of what happens in failed states in South America, that the United States is going to join the rest and become a fully failed state with a completely corrupt government. And we see that in Mexico. We see that in Brazil. We see that all across the South America and Central America. And my big fear and my pessimism is that is where we're headed. We're headed toward a failed state. If we don't get it together. And I think the only way we can get it together is if we come together as the American people. We need to come together and realize that our nation is on the take. And we need to realize that we do have to reject both sides, come together and say, it is time to take it back. I want to read a little bit more from her article here. She says, if you don't hashtag your posts and apologize for featuring white daisies on your gardening Instagram, then you're assumed to be against one agenda and by default for the polarized agenda. And that is so true right now in social media. And look, I was one of those people. I am guilty of this. Right after 2016, I was angry that Trump won. I was one of those. And I also attacked my friends and family. 4 years ago, I guess, would it be 4 years ago? Yeah, it would be Thanksgiving 4 years ago. I ruined my mother's Thanksgiving. I got mad at her for being a Trump supporter. And my Vietnamese refugee mother. And I was upset. I couldn't believe that she could support that man. And I basically shouted her out of the house. And I was one of those, I was one of those. And I also lost friends on Facebook by calling them racists, saying, oh, you're a racist. You're one of them. I was in that fog, and I had to eventually open up my eyes and realize, no, I was wrong. That they are not racist. They are not bad people for the differing in opinions. They have a differing view, and they, in fact, if anything, were more right than I was. Not just different, but more right, maybe, because they were the ones that were seeing the corruption also on the Democratic side that I wasn't able to see at that time. She goes on to say, Sanders voters are quietly bonding with possible Trump voters, and I see little shame in that. With such unfathomable unity is being censored. While such unfathomable unity is being censored, one truth of many is coming. Independents, libertarians, and moderates could be the new progressives to unite the parted sea and sail forward. If only we weren't so afraid. And I think that she is absolutely right on that. I am seeing more and more. I mean, this channel is, those of you watching, you're a testament to that. I've got Republicans, Democrats, progressives, conservatives, independents, moderates, libertarians, everybody, the gamut watching this show, which I appreciate. And that is something that I value a lot. I want to remain as independent and as, to try to see everything as logically and clearly as possible, so that, and not partisan, not be a partisan in any one way or the other. I try to maintain that as much as possible, and I value that a lot. And I do hear so many people, so many progressives who voted for Bernie Sanders are now actually voting for Trump, especially in the swing states. I have a lot of Floridians who were Bernie Sanders hardcore progressives and supporting progressives, and they have voted for Trump. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to understand, but they feel like Trump is actually the lesser of the two evils. And if Trump remains in office for another 4 years, then progressives have another shot in 2024, that it would send a clear signal to the Democratic Party that we're not going to play your games. You're not going to, throw us under the bus and give us some establishment guy, and then we're supposed to vote for him. We're not going to do it. And not only are we not going to do it, we're going to vote for the other guy because we think the other guy is actually better. He had less war. Joe Biden will certainly bring more war. And I'll do a segment on that, a deeper dive to show you if Joe Biden is in office is more dangerous for the rest of the world. We will go to war. We will see more death. That is what will happen under a Joe Biden administration. Even though they're going to sugarcoat it. They're going to sugarcoat it with, no, we're the good guys. Meanwhile, they're bombing and terrorizing countries that they don't like and leaders that are against them in one way, shape, or the other. But, I am seeing this kind of unity that's happening between moderates and libertarians and progressives and conservatives. I am seeing that. And independents do make up more of the voting bloc than either side. It's just that there isn't a viable third-party option at this point. But I do think that that sentiment is rising. I do think people are waking up. I do think more and more people are wanting it. We just have to get out of this whole, I've got to vote for this side because, I'm a Democrat and it's vote blue no matter who. We've just got to get out of that mindset completely. So again, I'm going to link this whole article. It's definitely worth a read down below from Sienna Mayhew. Thank you so much for sending this in to me. I appreciate it. Also, if you want to send me something, one thing I'm going to be doing is listener emails and messages more often. So if you send me your comments, your questions, your thoughts, I love getting your questions. I might read it live. Or some of your thoughts. A lot of you send me some really great research and other articles for me to take a look at. I appreciate all of that. So thank you so much for sending that in. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is actually now a part of a longer form show that I've been putting together, trying something new out and doing this kind of more in a long form radio show style. So if you want to watch that full show, it is there's a special link down below, and that'll take you to my Rockfin channel where you can actually watch the entire long form show for free. And there are some segments you are not getting on YouTube that you are going to get on that long form show. So we don't take every single piece and put it out there. So if you want to watch that, the link is down below. It is free to watch, but they will ask for your email address to sign up and to watch. But just so you know, it is free nonetheless. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate you.